So ADA over the past few days has been on a downtrend, and I've mentioned previously about how I've been tracking a WX Wastrager to the upside, and I set out the Y-wave target to sit within this range between 70 cents to 72.6 cents. And here you can see that the deeper that we continue to go, then the more likely it is that we ended up actually topping off at this level here at 69.3 cents, which can happen as long as the Y-wave meets the minimum requirement, which it has done in this case. And so, yeah, it looks like we have this correction that's playing out right now. And I mentioned in my previous update that we had this WX switch that played out where the Y-wave ended up reaching the typical range. So if I just bring in the Fib tool and bring this down to 68.5 cents, and you can see that the Y-wave, which is this move to the downside here, ended up tapping into its typical range where we ended up reaching 65.64 cents. And that was then followed by a reversal to the upside where we had an internal WX Wastrager that played out. And so what I'll do is check to see if the Y-wave ended up reaching the minimum requirement, which is the 61.8% retrace level. And we ended up actually getting rejected at the 100% retrace level. And so that then completed this corrective move to the upside. And then we saw a reversal, which was confirmed once we ended up breaching below this level here at 65.64 cents. And so in essence, it looks like we have a bigger WX Wastrager that played out like so. And yeah, it looks like we are now within this Y-wave here where it's possible that we could have a WX Wastrager that's played out to form this Y-wave. And so if I just bring in the Fib tool, in fact, if I drop down to the 50-minute chart, I think that would be more clearer. So if I bring in the Fib tool and bring this up to 67.16 cents, and yeah, the Y-wave would typically reach anywhere between 1 to 1.236, and you can see that we ended up exceeding the 1.236 level, but we failed to retrace towards the 1.618 level. And so as it stands, it does look like we have a WX Wastrager that played out. And if the price of ADA was to continue to drop even lower and retrace towards the 1.618 level, that would then trigger a 5-wave structure as opposed to a WX Wastrager. And so in essence, this move to the downside could be the wave 1, and this move to the upside could be the wave 2. And then we'll be within the wave 3 if we were to retrace towards this level here. And then we see a wave 4 and a wave 5 play out to then form this Y wave. Let's say if I go back to the hourly chart and check to see if this Y wave here has tapped into its typical range. So if I just remove some of this now, and bring this up to 67.55 cents. And yeah, you can see that we ended up tapping into that typical range between 1 to 1.236. And so it's possible that we formed this Y wave. However, at the same time, it's possible that we go slightly deeper to complete this Y wave. And so this is something I'm going to be tracking today. And in fact, if I go on the 5-minute chart and check to see what's taken place within this recent move here, and this move does look to be corrective rather than impulsive. And so it's possible that we have a WX Wastrager that's playing out, and then we're going to see a reversal to the downside where we then breach below this level here. And if I go back to the hourly chart, this WX Wastrager could either result in one of two scenarios playing out where it's possible that this WX Wastrager could form the wave X, where we could see a bigger WX Wastrager playing out, where we then see that reversal to the upside, where we can then begin to track the wave Y. Or the flip side could be that we are still within this wave X and we could see a deeper WX Wastrager forming to form this wave X, and then we see that reversal to the upside, where we can then begin to track the wave Y. And it is worth noting that on the hourly chart, the bulls currently have the momentum, and if I go on the 4-hour chart, you can see that we are within oversold conditions, and the same can be said on the 8-hour chart. And so at some point, I'm looking out for a reversal, and it will be interesting to see if this WX Wastrager is playing out, where the X wave could have bottomed out at 63.59 cents, or we see a slightly deeper move within a wave X, where we see a bigger WX Wastrager form, and then we see that reversal to the upside, where we can then begin to track the wave Y. But of course, that's something I'm going to be tracking in the days and weeks to come, and I'll keep you guys updated. And so, yeah, that's just my update on Cardano ADA. Hopefully you found it useful, and if you did, then feel free to hit the like button, and if you're new, feel free to subscribe. Take it easy, people. Peace.